So welcome to part 2 of subject-verb agreement. I can see you're a glutton for punishment and back for more. So we'll start out with a quick recap of what you've covered so far. First up, subjects and verbs have to agree, which means they have to sound right together. And that explains why you say, by noon I am always starving, but you say, by noon Grace is always starving. The verb and the noun have to sound right together. Of course, it's much trickier on the SAT, and subject-verb agreement is tested throughout the writing section on identifying errors questions and improving sentences questions. Now, in addition to the old rules, we also have to know about the new rules, which are here. First off, know these singular subjects: each, every, any, either, neither, one, and none. And with compound subjects that use or nor, you need to make the verb agree with the second subject. Don't confuse there is or was with there are or were. And lastly, watch out for weird word order when it comes to subject-verb agreement. Let's go into all of these rules in more detail. So the first new rule for subject-verb agreement is that there are certain words that are singular, and you need to make sure that the verb agrees as if they were singular subjects, which they are. So those words are each, every, any, either, neither, one, and none. And when you use them, you have to use the same verb conjugations that you would with other singular subjects like he or it. And let's, of course, see some examples. One of my friends are here today. So here the subject is the word one, and I hope you recognize that as one of the singular subjects we just mentioned. Now we ignore of my friends, which is a prepositional phrase. You should definitely remember that from the first unit on subject-verb agreement. And then what we have left is one are here today. That doesn't sound right, and it definitely isn't right. It should be one is. So the original sentence should actually be changed to one of my friends is here today. One is singular, is goes with singular, that's fixed. Now that one sounds pretty straightforward, but it does get weirder, so let's look at this example. None of my friends are here today. Almost the exact same sentence, but the word one has become none. But it's not that different because none is still one of those singular words, and of my friends is still a prepositional phrase we ignore. So none are here today might sound okay to you, but it's not, and that's why we're talking about it. None is one of those singular words that might not sound singular, but it is. So just like you'd have to say he is here today, because he is singular, or it is here today, because it is singular, you have to say none is here today, because none is singular. This might not sound right, but it is. The sentence actually needs to be, believe it or not, none of my friends is here today. I promise it's weird, but that's the way it works. Last example, each of the three brothers want to take over the family business. Now it might sound okay, but it's not. Let me show you why. Each is the subject, and it's one of those singular words. And of the brothers is a prepositional phrase, so for the purposes of subject-verb agreement, we ignore it. And then we have each want. Now that might sound okay to you, it might not, but it's not because each is a singular word, so it needs to conjugate the verb in the same way that another singular word would. So just like you would say it wants or he wants, you need to say each wants. So the sentence should actually be, each of the three brothers wants to take over the family business. So that's the first rule. Next up, or nor.